Chairman.
Thank you. Good evening, members and ladies and gentlemen present. Welcome to this evening's meeting of the South Eastern Area Planning Committee. I think you will know everybody except possibly Jonathan Doe, maybe new to some of you. Chairman's notices, recording of the meeting. Please note that the Council will be recording and publishing on the Council's website any part of this meeting held in open session. In the event of a fire, officers will notify those present. Please use the fire exits marked with the green running man. The fire assembly point is Barclays Bank car park. Please gather there and await further instruction. And I will just pass on a message that I think everybody's got a microphone handy, but apparently you haven't. Apparently there's been problems, and if you are going to speak, please make sure you've got a microphone handy, otherwise it's not being recorded. Agenda item 2, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chairman. We've received apologies for absence from Councillors Bassinger, Beale, Boyce, Channer, Hull and Councillor Skeens. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 3, minutes of the last meeting. To confirm the minutes of the meeting of the committee held on the 9th of November of this year. Copy enclosed. Everybody, I wasn't present, so is everybody else happy with what's in it?
Agreed.
Thank you. Agenda item 4, disclosure of interest. To disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for members. The members are reminded that they are also required to disclose any such interests as soon as they become aware should the need arise throughout the meeting. While I'm speaking, I will declare an interest over Homelands, partly because I wasn't present at the last meeting and this is a continuation of that, but also because in the past I've declared an interest for this applicant as we used to do business with a company they had that family had, and they owed us a considerable amount of money. Any other interests? No. Agenda item 5, land adjacent to Brickfields, Cottage, Green Lane, Burnham-onCrouch. This is the renewal of an application that was originally approved by us in July 2019. And Mr. Dow, I believe you're dealing with it.
That's right, Chairman. Yes, thank you very much. This application, well, the history is such that the recommendation is most certainly approval. It's at committee because it's just outside the settlement limit. The settlement limit is defined by Mangak Chase. I don't know if you can see the cursor moving up and down. That is Mangak Chase, and the settlement limit. Southminster Road is further to the east, as is Stony Hills area. There's a strategic growth area in purple there. As you can see from the map, various residential development around the site. Here's a block plan of the whole site. Brickfields Cottage is over to the east. Although not shown on that block plan, there's two fairly recently built, essentially completed houses to the west. This is an extract from the block plan showing the proposed dwelling, which is exactly the same as previously designed. A attached double garage to the side there, single storey, front dormers, parking and manoeuvring area, using the existing access. Here's the front elevation of the proposed property. As you'll see, a vernacular style of architecture, cottage style. Here's all 4 elevations. Floor plans. It's a 3-bedroom property, 3 bedrooms in the roof. The existing access would be used, photograph of that there. There's an outbuilding to the rear which would be demolished. This shows the existing access and the existing access of Brickfields Cottage. Brickfields Cottage, you can just make it out there, a weatherboarded property as is the proposed property. That's to the other side of the plot. The completed house over to the west, the garage is just being finished off, as you can see in that slide there. And there's another house further to the west. Plans are exactly the same as was previously approved. Essentially, that's it, Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Burnham members, anything you wish to say at this stage? No? Anybody else got anything to say?
Agreed with the officer's recommendation.
Is that agreed?
I propose it, Chairman.
I'll
Sorry?
second it.
I propose that we agree the officer's recommendation.
Yep. That's seconded.
I propose we approve it, Chairman, as per the officer's recommendation.
And I'll second it.
I think we need some more microphones. Okay. So, and that's agreed by everyone? Okay.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Move on to agenda item 6, 13 Mill Road, Tillingham. It's an outline application with all matters reserved for 2 residential units and associated garages. And again, this one is a lapsed consent that was also approved originally in 2 or 3 occasions, but in 2019 it expired, and it's now come back again before us. And Mr. Doe, I believe you again.
Yes, Chairman. Yes, as you say, given the history, the recommendation is certainly of approval, subject to a section 106 to address the RAMs, the nature conservation as per standard really, and conditions as in the agenda. Outside the settlement boundary therefore has to come to committee. The settlement boundary is that line that the cursor is going along. There's the village allotments to the north and an open field, agricultural field to the east. This is the block plan, but it's an indicative plan. It has satisfied us planners that what is being sought for outline planning permission could fit on the plot. They've indicated a house to the north there, a detached garage, and another house by the vehicular access, which would be at the end of that hammerhead shown in the photo, in between the 2 existing houses. Just shows another view of the site. The house 13 Mill Lane has been extended to the side and has a garden, a side garden, which forms the application site shown on the screen and shown on the screen there. Really, Chairman, given the history, the recommendation is of approval. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I mean, as ward member, yes, I can concur with everything that Mr. Doe has said. It's been a piece of unused ground for as long as I can remember, since they built Mill Road, I assume. And why it wasn't completed in those days, I don't know, but I'm quite happy to agree the approval on that. Any other members? Councillor Fluker.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I can remember this coming to this committee at least twice, maybe 3 times, and each time it was granted approval. So, Chairman, if you made a proposal, I'll happily support it, that we agree the officer's recommendation and approve the application. Yeah.
Any other members?
Agreed.
So you'll approve it, agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. That's agenda item 6 dealt with. I will leave the room for agenda item 7 and ask the Vice Chairman to take over for me.
Okay, thank you, members. Just for the benefit of the tape, I'm Councillor Adrian Fluker, the Vice Chairman of this committee, and I'm the ward member for Southminster. So we're now going to deal with agenda item 7, which is application number 22008964 Homelands, Southminster Road, Asheldham. Miss Matthews, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, members. So the members may recall that this application was deferred at the last Southeast Area Committee for more information to be provided regarding the previous appeal that was dismissed on the site. So there's additional information that's been included in the officer report, and I've also included some exercise in the presentation. So this application is for a 4-bedroom bungalow, detached garage and new vehicle access on the inside of Shop End on the Southminster Road in Asheldham. This is the location plan showing the application site outlined in red and the rest of the Homelands site outlined in blue with the Homelands existing dwelling also shown on there. So this is a block plan showing the new access that will be created from Southminster Road in this position here. We've got the bungalow in this position here and the garage next to the bungalow at the end of the driveway. The floor plans showing the internal layout of the bungalow and garage, and some elevations of the bungalow, shown to be 6.1 metres high to the top of the ridge. Roof plan, street scene which includes the existing bungalow at Homelands to one side and the end view of the bungalow proposed. Some photos of the site. The gate there is showing where the position of the new access would be. This photo here is looking down, looking southwards with the application site on the right hand side, and then this is a view around the bends, and the application site is behind that bank there, and you've got the existing Homelands property in the background. So in terms of the previous appeal, this is the location plan for the previous appeal outlined in red here. The current application site is roughly outlined in green here, just to give you some idea of the relationship between the two. So that appeal was for 2 detached chalet style bungalows in these positions here. And these are the floor plans and the elevations of the dwellings that were proposed but dismissed at appeal. So the main points to pick out from the previous appeal was that the current application would result in 2 properties on the site, which was the subject of the previous appeal. The inspector commented that the 2 bungalows were quite close together at just under 11 metres. And the current application would result in a similar relationship between the existing Homelands property and the new bungalow. He also commented that it's on a visually prominent bend in the road, and the current application would be for a bungalow closer to that bend than the previously proposed dwellings. And what else was saying? I think they were the main points, but to draw from the appeal decision. So on that basis, officers feel that the application should be refused for the reasons as outlined in your report in agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I understand there's one public speaker, Mr. Wickards. If you'd like to try and come up and sit down and use the... Yeah, there's a microphone. Yeah, use that microphone. Yeah, sit down. And I'm sure you haven't forgotten since a month ago. You've got 2 minutes here.
2 minutes. May I ask if everybody saw the updated drawings that were issued?
Well, you can't put a question, but they have been circulated. I can confirm that they've been circulated.
Thank you. We thank members for previously voting to defer this application, giving us the opportunity to address comments from the meeting and the reasons for refusal. There are several bus services set out in the briefing note to councillors. Most frequent is from Burnham to Bradwell, with 7 a day on weekdays and 5 on Saturday. For pit cottages, the inspector allowed the appeal, considering the proposal would result in reasonably sustainable traffic patterns, and the same applies here. Southminster has various facilities, including a convenience store, pub, swimming pool and railway station within a short bike ride of 1.7 miles. Where private car travel is needed, electric car charging points are within the garage to encourage using EVs. Solar panels will assist with car charging. Water butts and a ground source heat pump will reduce dependency on mains water and oil deliveries. The council cannot achieve a 5-year housing land supply. Government policy provides a clear presumption in favour of sustainable development where the tilted balance is engaged. This is the reason for the planning approvals and allowed appeals listed in the briefing note, demonstrating this appeal is in a sustainable location and should be approved. There are improvements to the appearance and setting of the proposals while reducing mass. The roof pitch is reduced by 7.5 degrees, lowering the ridge by 635 millimetres and 1.46 metres lower than Homelands, as suggested by members and demonstrating the street scene. Coloured drawings and further details on materials are provided with the addition of a brick plinth, white weatherboarding and green render, in keeping with the area and providing visual interest. Soft landscaping with post and rail fencing provides attractive boundary screening shown on the street scene, and all can be conditioned. The footprint, size and location of the bungalow can be compared against the surrounding homes on the coloured block plan. It clearly demonstrates a mixture and variety of plot and house sizes and relationships.
Mr. Regards, that's 2 minutes, but bear in mind we haven't got the clock up. I'll let you continue, but just to the end of your sentence. Yeah. So if
It
you
will not cause harm to the site and wider area. As such, we respectfully ask members to approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I throw it open to members, did you want to come back, Ms Matthews, on anything that Mr. Rickard said at that stage?
There was, in terms of the amended drawings, I did receive an email with some amended drawings yesterday, but I have already advised the applicant that they were received too late to be able to be assessed and taken into account as part of the current application, and that if they wanted revised drawings considered at committee, then they would need to withdraw the application and resubmit the revised drawings for consideration. So there hasn't been time to assess them or come to any view as to whether the changes that have been incorporated would change officers' recommendation, but on the basis that at least 2 of the reasons are on the basis of the principle of the development, then tweaking the design, that all the tweaks that have been referred to wouldn't change the recommendation from a refusal to an approval, certainly. Mentioned the other thought that came to mind was during that was there was a mention of a ground source heat pump, but again there's no reference to that in the application that is before members this evening, and in terms of where it's going to be, what it's going to look like, and they can cause some noise disturbance sometimes, so normally you've had environmental health comments on that element of a proposal before it came to committee, but that was all that I was going to say in response to the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So for clarity, we're basically dealing with the same application that was presented last time to this committee.
Yes.
That's it, without any of the amendments that have been sent to members today. Before I go to the recommendation, can you just, I think you had a that's the appeal one, members, I think, fine. Is that that's
No, Chairman, this is the application.
That's the
Current
application.
application that shows the existing house at Homelands
Yeah.
and the proposed bungalow here within the
And
application.
can you
set.
show us the one that came up on appeal?
And then the appeal block plan is this one here. As I said, the green is the current application site, so the bungalow will probably go in a similar position to the garage that was proposed as part of that appeal proposal. It was a garage, you can't put. And then the two dwellings there. Yeah.
Okay, so members, the officer's recommendation is to refuse. Is that seconded?
No.
Well, you speak for yourself, but
Not at this stage, Chairman.
right, thank you. So members, I'll hand it over to you then. Well, Chairman, I'll put the vote if that's what it is. So those in favour of refusing those in favour of supporting the officer's recommendation to refuse, please show.
But it's not been seconded, Chair.
Well, I thought it was. Did you not put your hand up?
No.
Right. So if it's not been seconded, we'll move on then.
We need to debate it, I think, and then...
Right. So members, over to you.
Mr Chairman, no inspectors and report on sites are always the same. They vary. Some may think, oh, this is a good site. Some may say it's not. But I'm in favour of people being able to remain in their villages. Why should they be dispersed to Malden or somewhere like that, where they're cramped up in rabbit hutches with no real countryside around them? So I would propose that we approve this application, reference D1, and I say again that no inspector's report are the same. They vary so much. One might approve, one might discount it. So I'll leave it, let anyone else add to if they want to.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, officers. I was a little bit bemused about the comment about the air or seat, the pumps, the ground source heat pumps, I should know, blooming engineers. Because God forbid if they are that noisy, because the amount that's going to go in the grounds in some new developments, we're going to have a problem with the environmental health officer, all the new developments we've got. I applaud them for actually wanting to put the green facilities in there. I think I said at the last one, I know I've had a couple of sleeps, Chairman, that I didn't actually have a problem with this. I took on board the officer's recommendations, and I still don't have a problem with it, to be fair. I agree with Councillor Helm. I don't think it actually is contrary to policy D1 and S8 and 8.4, I think. I could be wrong, Chairman, but I actually don't have a problem with it, and I also agree that the only area of concern, Chairman, the officer can help me, is the access to the road. Did Highways recommend refusal on this application, please, Chair?
Through Chairman, the current application, no, they haven't raised it.
Well, to me that says a lot really, because I think I've had some recent ones in my inbox for Essex County Councillor where they have actually recommended refusals, which is very unusual. So on that basis, I don't see that there is a risk for safety. And there is a bus. I don't know where the bus stop is because I don't use the buses, Chairman, but I don't have a problem. So rather than keep rambling on, I don't agree with it. I agree with it and I don't agree with the officers.
So,
Thank you.
before I come to Councillor Bell, because I think she's jumping in back. Yeah, I mean, look, this is, compared to where the inspector went with this originally, this is completely different. The original, and I know this site well because I pass it nearly every day, but the original site was two quite large bungalows fronting onto the road, and the inspector comments about that. But with this one, could you show me the rendering, Miss Matthews, of how this bungalow sits in relation to the existing building?
I think it might have been on your site plan. Not that one, no. I think you had one that showed with the site showing the, I think the gable end of the.
Oh, the street view.
Yeah, sorry, beg your pardon.
That one.
Yeah. So what the inspector didn't like last time, and I read the appeal today, was the fact that you had 2 bungalows facing the road, and he didn't like it because he said, well, that's not really what Asheldham's all about, and Asheldham's not all about that, although it's beginning to look like that, and you've got different buildings at different angles, and it's quite a nuclear development. And I actually think that this is a long, long way away from where the appeal decision sat last time. This is a more modest dwelling facing the other way. And I noticed that the officer, as part of the reason of the refusal, is sustainability. And you know, Asheldham, there were several appeals won, and since then we've had lots of applications come through, which have come here with an officer's recommendation to approve. Whether we like it or not, it's a sustainable location. You know, we know there's no footpaths, we know there's no street lights, but the planning inspector has said on more than one occasion it's sustainable. So I believe that it's sustainable, and I believe that the officers, I think based on the history of what's gone on, I'm surprised that the officers have said it's not sustainable. And you have to sort of look at where this is, because right opposite, land to the west of St Anne's farmhouse is right opposite this, and that was the first property to be given permission on appeal, if my memory serves me right. And nothing has changed since then. In fact, I remember you questioning me last time, Councillor Stamp, and said, I wish I had that many buses in Burnham, but there's eight buses a day, and you'd be pleased to know that most of them do go to Burnham. So you've got buses, you've got the school, the inspector said it's sustainable. And I actually think that this design and this proposal is so different to the proposal that was forwarded as part of the appeal. It's completely different. Councillor Helms made a proposal that, contrary to the officer's recommendation, we approve this application. I'm happy to second that. Councillor Bell.
I just wanted to clarify a couple of points. Firstly, the air source heat pumps and noise.
Can I just remind you that's not actually part of this?
Okay, what is then, I'll crack on with something that is, which is the highways issue. And highways are currently engaged with the applicant, I believe, and are actually have identified that bend for proposed works. So highways are not only aware, they're actually doing something about it.
Well, I think there's a lot of history on that bend that goes back a long, long way about how to deal with the problem with all of the traffic that comes around the bend. Obviously, that's not part of this planning application, but I think the critical thing as far as this planning application is concerned is the fact that highways do not have any objections to this. We have a proposal to approve this application contrary to the officer's recommendation. That's been duly seconded by myself. All those in favour of that, please show. Thank you. Okay, then, well, that's carried. Thank you very much. Your planning permission has been granted.
So we need a reason for approval, we need conditions.
Well, the reason I can't find. Can you just show me where section 8 is in this? Because for some bizarre reason it's not here. So, well, in summary, Chairman, I think with the committees, with the
well, it's Councillor Helms proposed that he'll need to tell us the reasons for approval.
You said D1 and then I said S8.
No, it's, as the Chairman, it has to be the person who proposed it has to put forward the reason for approval.
Well, I'm sure that the Councillor Helm would have heard everything I've said, and I'm sure.
D1 and S8, I think.
Yeah, and H.
Well,
Something else. It came out of my brain.
It's the wording that you need, not just quoting policies of, well, you need to talk to the reasons for refusal, really. And obviously we would advise you would be delegating it for the UU to be completed for the RAMs rather than approving it as well.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because that's in section 106, Chairman. It just say that on the thing, so it's subject to those, isn't it, in conditions?
Not if members approved it, you could be approving it without, that's what I'm saying is that you need to be able, it wouldn't be approved, it'd be delegated to officers subject to the completion of a 106.
So members, can I, just to help you, can I refer you all, and particularly Councillor Helm, to page 63 of the report, which deals with the reasons. The first one, Councillor Helm, is the site is located in another village. basically that it's not a sustainable location. So you may wish to speak against that now.
We've got all the bus routes and everything else going through there.
So you would,
It's been stated there.
so you would say then that it complies with policy
Yeah.
T1, T2, S1 and D1.
That's it.
Is that correct?
Just what I thought about.
And is your
It's on
iPad?
our screen anyway, you've just not read it properly. It does actually say that quite clearly.
Yeah.
If you want my notes, because you're having trouble with your internet.
Very much so.
And the second reason for refusal was to the proposed development caused harm to the character, Councillor Ham, of appearance of the
Well, there's
site.
so many different houses in Asheldham. I mean,
Asheldham.
they're not one the same. There's even a bungalow on the next corner round.
So that said, Councillor Helm, you'd say that it was compliant with S8, D1 and H4, yeah? And I think we've covered the RAMs.
Well, you wouldn't be approving it, you'd be recommending approval, but delegating it to officers subject to completion of the UU.
So with regards to the reason 3, we can
That
satisfy
can fall
that.
away.
Yeah, that can fall away. Okay, are you happy with that, Mr. Lee? Mr.
Any
Mackie?
conditions?
No, we'll leave it to you for conditions. It'll be the
Delegate
same.
them to officers, you
Yeah,
ain't not
delegate.
complete.
Delegated to some officers unless members have got anything they want to add. No?
No, just
Okay. So, right, so the good news is, as I said earlier, it's been approved, and now you actually know why. So, right. Right, can somebody get Councillor Dewitt, please? Thanks.
Right, thank you, Councillor Fluker, for that. Agenda item 8, any other items of business the Chairman of the Committee decides are urgent? I have none as such, except to, for those of you who don't know, that you know that Mr. Lee will be leaving us, and this may well be his last meeting tonight.
Oh.
Happy Christmas.
It's a present for you, members.
He's moving on to pastures new, undisclosed as yet.
Well,
Best of luck anyway.
Thank you.
I think everyone will join me in wishing you best of luck. You know, you've been coming to this committee a long time now. And regardless of what you think, we've learnt a lot. We've been very grateful for your guidance over the years. Well done.
I think he survived this committee, he can survive most things.
Thank you.
And the drinks are on you. Yeah.
And apart from that, this is obviously the last meeting of this calendar year, and for this committee, and Christmas is round the corner, so I'll wish you all a Merry Christmas, and thank you all for your help and throughout the year, and we will no doubt see each other before Christmas, but if not, we'll see you all in January. And
Is there any urgent business?
Sorry?
Is there any urgent business?
And there's no urgent business. No, I did deal with
Did
that.
say that.
But it is fairly urgent.
Corrected.
Okay, yeah.
Not the right ones, do you?
And I will close the meeting at 8:03.
Well done.